Oh, how you doing? I'm Chris, and you are beautiful. Look at you. It's the complexion. It's like if I went to, I don't know, far north Queensland, I suppose, and bought myself a primo, beautiful mango. And this mango is skin coloured and just gorgeously smooth. Today, what I'd like to talk about is leadership. So I'd like to start off with, what does that word mean to me? To me, leadership is a trait that someone holds where they are collaborating with people, so they will discuss ideas, but at the end of the day, it's their job to figure out what everyone's supposed to be doing. As I said, collaborative. They need to be collaborative because maybe the leader doesn't know exactly what he or she is supposed to be doing. They don't know the precise mechanism or whatever you want to call it, right? They just, so they need help. They need to communicate. And a real leader is willing to communicate. A real leader is not someone who sits back and barks orders at people. That's a bully, I guess. I don't know. It's not a leader to me. Someone who sits back and uses their superiority to tell people what to do. I don't vibe with that, right? And it's not what I call a leader. In fact, to me, a leader is supposed to be someone who's working at least as hard as everyone else, because they live by example, and they want other people to see, this guy is telling me what to do, sure, but he's working at least as hard as me. But really they should be saying he's working twice as hard as me, 3 times, 4 times as hard as me, because they don't want their people below them to feel gypped, to feel like a slave, to feel like they're not understood, right? It's not because of some financial reason or whatever or blah, blah, blah. It's only because they know that they get more respect from people if people don't feel like they're getting orders barked at them, basically. Right, so that's what I would call a leader, and that's what I would not call a leader. Now, a leader also needs to be confident, and in this particular example, confidence is believing in their decision. It's trusting that they know what they're doing. Right? You know, if something else comes along that's a better way of doing things, the leader is totally flexible enough to be able to switch, to adapt to the better solution. But until that point, the leader needs to be able to be dedicated to their ideas. Because it's hard to trust someone who's telling you what to do and clearly gives off the vibe that they don't know what they're doing. Does that make sense? They just need that. There's a level of confidence that is required there. So today, I was at a job. They have possums in the roof, we need to get them out. And so what I told him is we'd have to, it's a flat tin roof. I said, we're going to have to lift the roof sheets because there's no other way to get the possum out of the roof. And we're going to have to set cages. And then we're going to have to put the roof back. And he's like, that's a terrible idea. It's going to rain today. I said, don't worry, man. I've got this. And he goes, and he's like, oh, we'll see. And I explained to him quickly, I've got this idea. If we use some metal angle in this sort of way, we'll lift the roof up and we'll put this L-shaped piece of metal over the top so that the rain can't get in. It'll sort of seal up that area. And then when I come back, I'll just remove it. And then that'll be that. It'll be easy. And he's like, I don't know, let me have a chat because I have to warn the owners of the house that there's a chance that the rain could come in. I'm like, yeah, no problem, man. But rain won't come in. It's like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. You're not a roofer. You're a possum proofer, blah, blah, blah. And he's sort of going and going. I'm like, don't worry, man. And then the more I said, don't worry, the more he worried. And the more I explained it, the more crystal clear my explanation was to how I was going to do it, the more he'd get defensive and say, well, if any water gets in, you're liable, it's not me, you're going to have to repair the roof, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's fine, that's okay, but if we both look at it together, you can tell me if it's a terrible idea and we won't do it. I'm happy not to do it. Or if you think it's a good idea, we'll go ahead and do it. It's like, well, as long as you know that you'll be liable because you're the one lifting the roof and blah, 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 blah. It's fine, man. No dramas. And he's like, oh, okay, all right. And he was just really defensive, ultra defensive, making it very clear that he wants nothing to do with any of this. Anyway, he got up on the roof and I said, just watch what I do. Just watch it, and you can change it. I can stop at any moment. And I went up there with my idea, and I started installing it. The minute he saw me carrying the piece of L-shaped metal called flashing, the minute he saw me holding this flashing, instantly he knew what I was going to do. Straight away. And all his defenses came down. And as I installed it, the more I did, the more he's like calmed down. The more he just let me do it. And I didn't care that he was watching me because I knew that by the end, he'd approve. And in fact, what happened was about halfway through it, he goes, that's a really good idea. I like your style. That's great. He starts complimenting me. Right? Which he didn't do before. Before he was so defensive that he didn't even want to know it. Didn't even want to know it. He was so kind of defensive and stressed that the part of his imagination that could vision this shut down completely. And the only thing that existed was his way. Right? But by taking control, by just doing it, but giving him the opportunity to collaborate with me, to change everything. It's in his power to change everything if he wants to do that. We came to this really good conclusion. By the end of it, he was asking me like, oh, so how long you been doing this for? Do you do a lot of work? Is there a lot of work on for possum proofing? Do you do this? Do you do that? Oh, Chris, that's my son's name, blah, blah, blah. We're vibing now. And we're vibing because I became a leader. So leadership is not all about barking orders at people. Sometimes it takes you stepping up, and that will gain respect. And it's not coming from a place of domineering people. It's coming from a place of It's all right, man. You don't get it yet. That's okay. Doesn't make you stupid. I tried my hardest not to make him ever. I never used language that would insinuate that he's an idiot, because I didn't believe in my heart that he was an idiot. I believe that he was covering his ass, and that he's worked with people who are idiots, who have like done things and then blamed him for their mistakes. I wanted to make it crystal clear that that wasn't what I was about, and it came across, because that's what a real leader would do. A leader's not going to make anyone feel stupid, right? It's in most people's paradigm to believe that that's this domineering leader is what a leader is. They're like a Spartan warrior that barks orders at people. You do this, do this, do this. Or maybe that's not quite the right thing. Maybe a drill sergeant is a leader a drill sergeant from the army is a leader, which I don't believe in. I think that's a load of shit. Like, that's not a real leader. That's just that's guy barking orders. The other thing is that the more you collaborate with people, it shares the responsibility as well. If you become a drill sergeant who just barks orders at people, man, if you mess up, if any of your people underneath you mess up, an army is an excellent example. It's not the soldier's fault unless they didn't follow the order. If they did follow orders, then it's the sergeant's or the senior guy's fault for making that call. And if he made it all by himself, then all the responsibility is piled onto his shoulders. Or her shoulders, whatever. Right? Whereas if you collaborate, not only are you going to come to a better conclusion, because you've got more than one mind working on the same problem, but if something goes wrong, like on a selfish sort of ego reason, you're not going to be in as much trouble. You'll share the blame, you know? And, you go, all right, well, guys, what did we do wrong this time? Let's do it differently next time. So, and some people are shy, right? But shy people can still be leaders. They're going to go about it in a different way. But being a leader could be as simple as offering your opinion to people, in the sense of, like, you're all working on a group project, or someone is going through a situation that you have insight on that they clearly don't. And all you have to do is explain it to them. And if you're explaining it to them, you're being a leader, because you're now providing them direction. And if they choose not to do it, that's on them. We're not being domineering. We're not being a dictator here about it. We're just being, giving ideas and trying to come to the best conclusion together, because we care about people and we care about the outcome. Right? That's a really powerful trait. And the more you practice helping people when they want help, because pushing your ideas and beliefs onto other people isn't the most comfortable thing when they don't want to hear it, right? And for good reason. But yeah, just understand that helping people is a good thing. Offering your ideas is a good thing if they're willing to receive it. And blah 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 blah. Alright. Hopefully that made some sense. Keep up that beautiful mango skin, and I'll see you in another video.